Hello, everyone. It's your favorite lawyer, Dr. Blessing Joseph, and you are with Victoria Legal. So today we're going to be discussing about inheritance rights, succession rights. So don't go anywhere, sit back and let's embark on this beautiful journey of acquiring knowledge. So if you're yet to subscribe, please do so immediately. If you're yet to share this video, share to everyone around you. Don't go anywhere, sit back. We'll be right back. Succession can be defined as the passing of possession to persons upon the demise of the proprietor of the possessions. Okay, that is succession. Then let's talk about inheritance here. Inheritance means possession obtained from a predecessor through laws of intestacy. Okay, and this brings us down to the things entailed in succession. We have testate succession and intestate succession. Okay? Testate succession is where a person executes a will on the distribution of his property, or let's say estates, amongst his or her successors or heirs when he or she was still alive. That is testate succession. The key word here is will. The presence of a valid will. Then intestate succession. This is where the proprietor of possessions of the property leaves this world or ceases to exist without a valid will. So look at the difference between testate succession and intestate succession. The difference between the both of them here is the presence of a will in testate succession and the absence of a will in intestate succession. You can find inheritance in intestate succession, but succession itself encompasses testate succession and inheritance. Okay, it encompasses the two. So this brings us to the chain of inheritance. Okay, let's talk about what happens when a proprietor of an estate dies without a will. That is the chain of inheritance. What happens? The demise person passes down, that's by law, passes down his possession to his spouse. In the absence of his spouse, be it a woman or a man that's a widow or a widower, in the absence of the spouse, it goes down to the children. Whereby there are no children, it goes down to the parents of the demised. If you don't have the parents of the demised, then it goes to the brothers or sisters of the demised. Whereby there are no brothers or sisters of the demised, you cannot extend it to uncles, to cousins, and so on and so forth. That is the chain of inheritance. Okay? This occurs whereby the demised leaves this world without a will. That is when we bring in the chain of inheritance. Okay? So whereby he dies with a will, or whereby some of his properties are contained in the will, whereby some is not in the will, what happens? I'll leave the answer to you. In the next episode, I will be answering that question. Okay? So watch out for the next episode. On that note, we'll be heading forward to the keynotes on inheritance rights. Number one, you can only inherit a property or an estate only upon the demise of the proprietor of the possession. What this means is that you cannot inherit your father or your mother's property whereby your father or your mother is still alive and existing in this world. No, you cannot. You can only inherit property, estate, name it, upon the demise, upon the death of a proprietor of the possession. That is number one. Number two, women can inherit properties. Yes, I said so. Okay? Gone are the days whereby women can't inherit properties. They would only pass down properties to the male children. No. We have series of cases right now. Notable cases, notable legal cases that backs this up. Women inheritance. I'll mention just a few of them. You can check them up. We have the case of Mojeku against Mojeku. This case goes way back. Okay, then we also have Nwike's case, all on women inheritance. Number three, the deceased person does not merely pass only the property. He also passes down the rights and obligation attached to the property to his or her successors. Okay, let me give you an instance. Let's say the owner of a property gave out his property to obtain a loan on collateral, and upon the collateral he died without repaying the loan. But in his will, he willed the property that he gave for the loan as collateral. He willed the property to Mr. A. Upon his demise, since the loan is still existing and the obligation is attached to that particular property that was willed to Mr. A, Mr. A has to bear the responsibility of either paying the loan to get the property or forfeiting the property. You understand that now, okay? So whatever rights, whatever obligation, and you see in some person's wishes, you'll find things like whosoever I'm giving my mansion to must clean my mansion in 3 months' time. You understand? Maybe it specifies a name. Okay, I'll be giving my mansion to Mr. Paul. So therefore, Mr. Paul, the duty attached to it is that upon my demise, Mr. Paul must clean the mansion 3 times a year. That's an obligation. It also has the rights attached to it, okay? And what we're talking about here must not necessarily be movable or that's immovable property. It can be immovable property. You can talk about shares attached to it. You can will your car, different things, okay? So not just landed property or real estate property. There are so many other things that can be willed. Fourth on my list is that a person can pass his property to the whole world. You understand? Anyone can be a beneficiary. You must not necessarily be related to the demised or the proprietor of the possessions. No, you can anybody, your gate man, unknown and unknown. In fact, the whole world can benefit from the will of anyone whatsoever. Okay, this brings us to the last keynote on my list. Okay, this has to do with succession. Succession involves testates and intestates. That it encompasses inheritance, but you can't find succession in inheritance. Please note that. We have other keynotes on inheritance rights. There are other keynotes, but I want you to watch out for episode 2 on inheritance rights. There I will be mentioning them all. So if you're yet to subscribe, please subscribe. Share this page to everyone that you know on all your platforms, and do not forget to give me a thumbs up. Okay? Share this page. I love you. Thank you so much. Gracias.